Hello, my lovelies. I am Medical Butterfly, and today, my lovelies, we are going to be doing a different kind of video. I've decided to read to you all a few chapters from the very first Curse of the Frog Prince book. The early morning sun shined brightly over the kingdom of Inweo. As palm trees swayed from a strong morning breeze, shadows from the trees danced over the edges of the nearby beach, granting it some desired shade from the hot morning sun. Famous for being the only beach on the continent that had pink sand, people from all over the world once filled the beaches of Inweo. At least that was the way things used to be. Now the beach was completely void of any human visitors. That was except for one young woman who was standing near the shoreline. The woman's hands were rough, and her dark chocolate skin housed several scars beneath her clothing. She had an oval face that was delicately framed by long black hair styled into several individual braids. She stood stone-faced, both of her large hazelnut eyes staring straight ahead. It would seem almost a miracle to any observer that the strong morning breeze had not blown her into the sea. Her body, although muscular, was so thin that the light green dress that she was wearing hung on her like a sail on a boat. Her bare feet were covered with mud, sand, and debris from the forest floor. Looking down at them, she thought, I don't want him to see my feet this way. She walked to the edge of the shore and allowed the aquamarine seawater to wash over them, clearing away the debris from her feet. While cleaning her feet, she wondered why she was doing something so pointless. She would have to walk through the woods to get home. Still, she thought, what he thinks of me matters. Even my feet. Speaking of him, he should have been here 10 minutes ago. I hope nothing bad happened to him. Her heart started to race and she began pacing back and forth, splashing in the water. What if he was? No, don't think that way. He has been on more dangerous missions than this and made it out all right. Once he arrives, say what you need to say. Then don't talk for too long. After that, and head home. Home. That word feels funny, considering my home is now my hell. She noticed a blue shell underneath the water near her foot, stopped pacing, and knelt down to pick it up. After standing up, she started to examine the shell. How long has it been since I lost everything? Probably 2 months. Or at least I think it's been that long. She decided the seawater had cleaned her feet as well as could be expected. She walked over to the spot on the beach where the palm trees provided shade. As she stood there, she felt a familiar pair of warm arms wrap around her. A male voice from behind said, I'm sorry I'm late, Akinyi. Akinyi did not pretend that being in the man's arms made her soul feel at ease, but as much as she wanted to remain in his embrace, she had to force herself to push his arms away. She backed away from him. As she did so, she took a breath to calm her nerves before turning to face him. Owusu, did you learn anything about my brother's whereabouts? Owusu replied, Akinyi, what is wrong? Nothing. Just tell me what I asked. If nothing is wrong, then why did you walk away from me? And why won't you look at me? Akinyi told herself to remain calm as she slowly raised her head and looked at Owusu in the eyes. Please, Owusu, just answer my question. Owusu was a young man with dark brown skin and a muscular build. Curly, jet black hair covering the top of his head was styled in a temple fade with a sponge twist. His large brown eyes had a glimmer of kindness. He was wearing a white dashiki that had black embroidery around the neckline and sleeves. An old faded pair of black shorts covered the upper part of his muscular legs. His lower legs had several scars, the remains of old wounds. His feet were being protected by a pair of black leather sandals. Owusu looked at Akinyi as if he wanted to ask more questions about her behavior, but it was clear something inside him told him to wait. He answered, "Sadly, I have not received any message about whether or not the prince is safe. However, I have not been given any reason not to believe he is alright. Why? If your brother had been killed or captured, the usurper would have made a huge spectacle of it. He would have used the information to solidify his rule as Nwayo's new king." After hearing this, Akinyi allowed herself to relax. "You have a point. That tyrant would be dancing if my brother was dead. Anyway, I only have a little time left. Were you able to make contact with that old general? What was his name? Mobutu. Yes, I told him that Nwayo's princess would fully pardon him if he helped your family retake the kingdom. He told me he would think about it if he does not get a better offer. Meaning the bastard is hoping the usurper wants to make a deal with him. True, that greedy old man just wants riches and women. He thinks that he is so wise. However, we both know that the usurper will only offer him death if he does not swear loyalty. I guess it's at least good to know that Mobutu has not allied with the usurper. Anyway, I should get back before my jailers notice that I am gone. Please allow me to escort you back." "No." "Why? I have not seen you in over 2 months and you are acting like you're not happy to be near me." Akinyi's heart began to pound, but she reminded herself that she must be strong. Say what you have to say and leave quickly. She took a breath before saying, "Owusu, I am grateful for your help and all the information that you have shared with me. I realize the danger that I have placed you in, but we can no longer have a non-formal relationship. In other words, you want us to stop being lovers. It's not a matter of me wanting to stop being with you. I'm engaged and I can't be like my mother and have a husband and a lover." Owusu stared at Akinyi, his face filled with disbelief. Akinyi knew that his pride would not allow him to beg her or any woman for her affection, no matter how much he loved her. So he replied, "I understand." Akinyi, once again lowering her face so as not to look Owusu in the eyes, stated, "I'm glad you accept the situation." "Akinyi, I never said I accept a damn thing about this, but sadly we have bigger things outside of our relationship to worry about. When everything is finally over, let's sit down and talk about us." "There is nothing to talk about. Our romance is over," she said. "Goodbye." And as she started to walk past Owusu, he grabbed her hand, causing her to drop the shell. In response, she quickly pulled her hand away. In a disappointed voice, Owusu said, "Things are not over between us. I'll be here when you wake up."